What's up, guys? We finally made it to our first full NBA slate of the season here on Wednesday, October 23rd. We're going to break down every game and look at bets on the side and over under, and we might even throw some player props in there. So buckle up. We have a great video for you tonight. If you want to win all of your bets today, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now also sign up for a channel membership by clicking the little join button right below the video. Members get exclusive early access to all NFL and college football videos and get their names up on screen just like right now. I really appreciate the support from all of you. Seeing that badge next to your comments absolutely warms my heart. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering NFL, NBA, NCAA football, UFC, NHL, and the MLB. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up and also to join our free email list to get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today and we will give you our best advice on all of them. We are committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into game one, guys. We've got the Indiana Pacers going on the road to take on the Detroit Pistons. Indiana, not really a team that made a lot of changes in the offseason. Obviously, they found a lot of success last year, but some tough injuries and just running into the Celtics there kind of derailed things for them at the end of the season. The real goal for them this year has to be for Tyrese Halliburton to make it through the year healthy. That's going to be a very, very big deal. A full season of him last year, who knows what could have happened? Would they have been able to beat the Celtics? That seems like a pretty big reach to me, but overall, guys, this was a very, very dangerous team last year, and Tyrese Halliburton was one of the most exciting young point guards to watch in the entire NBA. The deep ball looked great, obviously a huge assist guy, just a very, very good season for him across the board. So expecting continued good stuff for him. Nembhard had some big moments there in the playoffs, so they're hoping that he can continue to mature and play well. Naismith out there had some very big moments and is a great defender. Obviously, adding in Pascal Siakam was a big deal for this team, gave them a great experienced guy out there. Now they've got him locked up, so it's going to be very interesting to see how he plays out there in Indiana. I'm expecting big stuff from him. That guy is one of the best, defenders, score. I don't know. That guy's a monster. Honestly, I feel like Siakam is still pretty underrated despite, the money he's making and all the success he's had. He's an absolute monster out there, and he doesn't get talked about enough. Miles Turner at center, obviously a great spot for him. He's been having, a pretty effective time lately. Injuries can be a problem for him every once in a while, but overall, not a guy that I'm worried about at all. He can knock down the deep shot. He can play decent defense on the interior, and he fits right in with the run and gun style this super, super high-paced Indiana Pacers team loves to play. On the bench, having TJ McConnell as backup point guard, absolutely nothing wrong with that. He can play a little bit at shooting guard too, and be out there with Tyrese Halliburton. That can be no problem. Mathurin coming off the bench, that's a great bench piece in my opinion. Overall, guys, this is a very good team with some solid depth. I like Obi Toppin coming off the bench. We've got guys in the starting lineup that can definitely play some very, very big minutes when they need to. Obviously, adding somebody like James Wiseman can be a little bit interesting. We'll see. Maybe there's just nothing there. The Warriors obviously jumped ship long ago, but we'll see if maybe James Wiseman can learn and mature a little bit. The dude's still super young, so that could be a dark horse, interesting addition there for the Pacers. So they're going to be looking to kind of run things back this season. We'll see what they can do against a team that wants to do the exact opposite, guys. The Detroit Pistons had an absolute nightmare of a year last year. They fired Monty Williams, hired JB Bickerstaff. I think this team is going to do much, much better this season now that they've got a coach out there that isn't what felt like intentionally sabotaging his team, guys. He was playing dudes starters minutes who are no longer even in the NBA. This Pistons team was a disaster and kind of a laughingstock last season. We'll see what they can do this year, but I'm expecting a definite step forward. Cade Cunningham, one of the most exciting, most dominant young players in the game. An absolute monster out there. He can handle the ball. They've got him running point. I don't know if he necessarily even has to do that, but regardless, he can score on every level. He can score against anyone. This dude is a monster out there. We'll see what guys like Jaden Ivey can do. Obviously, Asar Thompson being out, we don't really know what's going to go on with him as there's still no timetable for his return, so we won't be expecting to see him back anytime soon, but bringing on Tobias Harris is a nice little addition to throw some, some veteran presence in there. He could have some big nights. He's going to be a guy that, can do whatever he wants out there. We'll see how that goes. He's a veteran. I think he knows what he's doing, kind of, trying to lead lead this squad a little bit. And yeah, Marcus Sasser coming off the bench, Malik Beasley, adding in Tim Hardaway Jr. Every once in a while, he's going to have a crazy night where he just shoots the laces off the ball and just looks insane out there. So we'll see how that goes. Jalen Duren, obviously a monster. He'll be it'd be very exciting to see what he can do. I think we're going to see some glimmers of hope for the long-suffering Detroit Pistons fans. So looking at the matchup for this game, we've got the Pacers going on the road here, so Detroit's playing at home. The Pistons are getting 4.5 points playing at home, so not a ton. We've got an over-under out there of 234. Guys, I'm looking towards the Pacers on the road in this one. I know this feels like kind of a chalky play, but do we really think the Pistons are going to improve that much right out of the gate? I do feel like Cade Cunningham could give the Pacers some matchup issues, no doubt about that, but I'm really not feeling Detroit being able to keep pace with the amount of just pure offense that Indiana is going to be able to put up out there. And Siakam guarding somebody like Cade, I don't know if Cade's going to really have a fantastic time. Not very many guys have a great time against somebody as good as Siakam. So give me the Pacers on the road in this game. I also want to take a quick look here at the over-under. 234 kind of feels like a lot of points to me, but in a super high-paced Indiana Pacers game, I don't think that's insane. I would maybe shade just a slight bit towards the under in this one, but really, guys, the over-under, not my favorite play in this one. I definitely think the Pacers are in a pretty good spot. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Brooklyn Nets going on the road to take on the Atlanta Hawks. The Brooklyn Nets, not a team that there's a lot of optimism surrounding coming into this year, guys. They haven't done a whole ton. They did ship Mikal Bridges out of town, so yeah, I guess they just continue to be in rebuild mode. Dennis Schroeder leading the way here at point guard. We'll see what he can do out there. I think he's pretty much a known quantity. I don't think we're going to see some transcendent season from Schroeder. I do think Cam Thomas there at shooting guard is a very, very interesting guy. A dude to watch for sure. He can go absolutely nuclear out there. He's going to get to take all the shots he wants for this team, or at least that's what it looks like to me. It's going to be very exciting to see him just go nuts every once in a while as he kind of just tries to shoot this team to the occasional win. Cameron Johnson out there can't feel great with where things are at in his career right now after being in much better situations earlier on. But right now, guys, he just needs to go out there and prove that he can be a professional and put in the work despite playing on a bad team. Dorian Finney-Smith, going to be a guy people are interested in trading for, and I do think this could be a big trade engine kind of team. And yeah, Nick Claxton there at center, also an interesting young piece. So I do think there's some talent on this roster. They also have, the complete and utter wild card there of Ben Simmons. I'm sure we all saw the Ben Simmons workout videos in the offseason. We'll see if he can actually do out there. I am absolutely not going to be holding my breath. I expect him to be injured at any moment, at all times, and I just don't think the dude loves playing basketball. We're not going to see Bojan Bogdanovic in this game, guys. We're not sure when he'll be back coming off of that foot injury. I think he's another guy that's going to be very, very often floated in trade rumors. He could help a lot of different teams, so we'll see how that goes. But the Nets, not necessarily a team that I'm watching that I think is going to have a ton of good things happen to them this year. On the other side, guys, we've got the Atlanta Hawks, a pretty interesting team themselves. Obviously took a bit of a step backwards last season. They shipped Dejounte Murray out. This is officially Trae Young's team again. We'll see how that goes. He's got Clint Capella healthy, so that's going to be a very, very potent lob or floater kind of offense there with Trae Young and Clint Capella. He's going to shoot those long shots. We've got Bogdanovic coming off of a big Olympics there, so that could be nice for him. Larry Nance Jr. coming off the bench. Jalen Johnson, they're going to be hoping he can take a step forward. Not hearing a lot of hype about DeAndre Hunter anymore, but this is a guy that's been a very, very solid piece for them, and he's young. He could take a step forward. Really, guys, I don't know if this team has what it takes to compete out there in the East, but you never know. Trae Young is a monster, in my opinion. Obviously terrible on defense, but we'll see what this team can do. It's going to be interesting out there. I'm not expecting miracles from them, but it's not like they're facing the toughest opponent out here in Game 1. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the Hawks, they're 7.5 point favorites playing at home. We've got an over-under of 221.5 in this game. In terms of the side in this one, guys, I'm probably leaning just a slight bit towards the Nets and the points, as they might come out and be competitive here in the early goings. We'll see. Teams always start the season with a good amount of optimism, and I don't have all that much faith here in the kind of new look Atlanta Hawks. In terms of the over-under, though, guys, I really like the over in this game. 221.5, not a ton of points. I think we'll see both teams score the ball well. I don't think we're going to see great defense defense from either team. So I think offense is going to be, just flowing for both squads. So go ahead and give me over 221.5 in this game. I think that's a very reasonable spot. I'm not in love with the side on this game though. Next up, guys, we've got one of the most exciting young teams out there in the East. We've got the Orlando Magic going on the road to take on the Miami Heat. The Magic come into this season, guys, lots of optimism there. They added KCP, so a premium defender there at shooting guard. We will see a lot less minutes there for guys like, Gary Harris and dudes that we just would rather not see out there taking a bunch of, I would say, less than premium shots and playing good defense, but maybe not elite defense. So we'll see what he can do. I'm expecting great things from the veteran. I'm expecting good stuff from Jalen Suggs there at point guard. And with Cole Anthony there to back him up, that's a pretty potent duo there. One great defender, one great offensive guy, and they can both defend a little bit. So that should be fine. And Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero could be one of the most exciting and most dominant young duos in the NBA this season. Yeah, guys, you heard it here. Probably not first, but I'm expecting very, very big things from them. Franz Wagner, he didn't have a great time shooting the ball from distance last year. I don't think that's going to be the case for him permanently. I'm sure he was getting in the gym. I'm expecting him to have a bounce back shooting season from deep here, and I am expecting Paolo Banchero to continue to mature into one of the transcendent elite level superstar players in the NBA. With the kind of size and the kind of skill set that he has, there's very little he can't do out there on the basketball court, and these two guys can absolutely defend. That makes a huge, huge deal with the kind of size they have, the quickness they have. This is going to be a team that is an absolute nightmare to try to score against, and being out in the East doesn't hurt either. And guys, we got Wendell Carter Jr. there at center. Great spot. If he can stay healthy, that's kind of the big question for him. He's had problems with that, but when he's been healthy, guys, he has been very, very productive. So I'm expecting good stuff from him here right out of the gate. Hopefully all the rehab and all that kind of stuff, he's going to be healthy for this season. We're going to see big, big things from him. And this bench is not bad. I mean, you're bringing in Cole Anthony, Gary Harris, that's not bad. Anthony Black, no problem there. Jonathan Isaac, obviously an extremely injury-prone guy, but we'll see what they get from him. Obviously, it should be a premium level defender. And Mo Wagner coming in there at center, a big energy guy. You could see crazy, crazy stuff from him, like literally crazy and figuratively crazy, basketball crazy, and crazy as a person. I like that, though. A little bit of crazy out there isn't a bad thing. I'm very, very excited here for the Orlando Magic to start this season. And they're going against their in-state rivals, the Miami Heat, who didn't really have, maybe the offseason that they wanted to have, didn't really have the end to last regular season that they wanted. Jimmy Butler getting injured there was pretty rough to see. He's healthy now. They come into the season ready to go. The only guy on the injury report is Josh Richardson, and I don't think he was really a huge, huge part of their plans anyway, guys. He's not going to play with left heel inflammation. I don't think they're really too worried about getting him back. Maybe it'll be fine. We'll see if he matters this season, but really what's going to matter this year is Tyler Hero staying healthy and maturing a little bit, Terry Rozier staying healthy and, picking up where he left off before getting hurt last season. He had some big, big games for the Miami Heat and gives them, an offensive creator out there besides Tyler Hero and besides Jimmy Butler, who apparently is locked in, ready to go for this season. He's going to be taking the regular season more seriously. They need to be in a better playoff situation, a better seeding spot than they were last year. Definitely for sure. So we'll see how locked in they really are. This is the lineup. This is a starting five that I like quite a bit. I mean, we got Nikola Jovic. He is an up-and-comer. I'm not going to say he's a monster yet, but I'm excited with what we're going to see from him. And when he's not out there, guys, we've got Jaime Jaquez Jr., who looks like an absolute monster last year in his rookie season. Hopefully he can take a step forward. That would be great to see. Bam there at center. He's an absolute monster. We've got Kevin Love coming off the bench. We've got Duncan Robinson coming off the bench. We've got sometimes the ghost of Alec Burks that could come off the bench and do some positive things. We saw good things from Hayward Highsmith last year. This feels like a team that's got a lot of depth. They have a lot of depth. I feel like they can, absolutely score. I feel like they're going to absolutely defend. I think the Heat are going to be a very intriguing team this season. Not coming in with a lot of hype. Didn't make any of those splashy acquisitions. The Jimmy Butler contract situation definitely got talked about a good amount. I think we're going to see a locked-in version of Jimmy Butler. I think we're going to see locked-in Terry Rozier, and Bam, always locked in. This is going to be a very interesting team. If they can stay healthy, I'm expecting exciting stuff here for the Miami Heat, a team that it kind of feels like everybody forgot about. And they're also a very intriguing team to make some sort of big splashy trade. So we'll see what happens with Miami Heat this season. But looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Heat at home as -2-point favorites. We've got an over-under in this game of only 208.5 points. The book's expecting this one to be pretty low scoring. And given the way these two teams can defend, I don't think that's crazy at all. Guys, I'm going to be leaning a little bit here towards the Miami Heat at -2. It's not my favorite pick of the day. I feel like this game is pretty close to a toss-up. I'm leaning just slightly here towards the Heat at home. They have, historically a kind of unique home court advantage. We'll see how that plays out. In terms of the over-under here of 208.5, I would maybe side even a little bit here towards the under. Usually under plays are decent in the early goings in a season. Teams can be a little bit sloppy, and with two teams that love to play defense like these two do, I'm fine with taking that under. But really, guys, this is just a game I'm excited to watch. I don't think any plays for this one are going to be going in the pinned comment. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering NFL, NCAA football, NBA, NHL, UFC, and Major League Baseball. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get you the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new, and become a channel member for early access to all of our NFL and NCAA football videos. Also, if you want to experience peer-to-peer sports betting while paying almost zero juice, click the link in the description and sign up at BetOpenly.com. Now, guys, back to the games. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Milwaukee Bucks going on the road to take on the Philadelphia 76ers. The Bucks come into this season, guys, with a lot of weird stuff swirling around. First of all, we got Chris Middleton. He's going to be out to start the season, him not being healthy here right at the very beginning. Already throwing a wrench there into the works. That's very concerning. We've got Giannis on the injury report as probable. He's going to play in this game. Don't worry about that. He's definitely going to play, but right patella tendonitis. They're already, getting things set up for him to be able to rest. He's been super weird here in the offseason talking about, they might trade him if they don't do well. It's starting to feel like you want to be traded, Giannis. You keep talking about it all the time. So we'll see how that goes. We've got Dame coming off of a down season last year. Supposedly he was out of shape coming into the season because he was, terrified to hurt himself and mess up getting traded. But yeah, apparently all is good now. He had a whole full season to train. Off season to train. We'll see how that goes. I'm expecting big stuff from Dame, honestly. Will that be able to happen every night? Is he a guy that can go out there and go nuts every night? We don't know if that still exists for him, but I'm expecting good stuff from him. I think having Gary Trent Jr. is an interesting guy for them. Or what are we going to see from Brook Lopez this season? He's had, great years. Can he stay healthy? All that kind of stuff. I mean, he's a premium shooter and a premium big man out there, so I don't think he's a bad guy to have on your team. Picking up Taurean Prince, not a bad look. He's a decent defender. Obviously, we've got Bobby Portis there to come off the bench. That's a great guy to have coming off the bench. He's going to have some big nights, so overall, guys, definitely some stuff to be excited about for the Milwaukee Bucks, but definitely lots of reasons to feel really weird about this team. We'll see how it goes, though. We'll see how it goes. Going to be very interesting here, even on opening night as they take on the Philadelphia 76ers, a team that's going to be starting the season with a plethora, at least a plethora, maybe two plethoras of problems, guys, because right off the bat here, we've got Paul George out. He hyperextended his knee in the preseason, and it did not look good, guys. Did not look good. Apparently, it's not a big deal, no structural damage, yada. It's going to be a minute before that knee feels normal. It's going to be a minute. If you've ever hyperextended your knee, that is not a good feeling, guys. It feels real weird, and it takes you a long time to trust that joint again. So we'll see how that goes. He's going to be out for a bit. We also see Joel Embiid going to be out here for opening night. Not a good sign. He's already missing time, guys. We don't know when he's going to be back. He will not play in any games this week. This is bad. This is real bad, guys. The whole idea of the 76ers team was built around Paul George and Embiid. They're going to need to be available a lot because while this team does have some depth, how excited are you going to be for a whole game of Andre Drummond out there? I do like watching Andre Drummond, don't get me wrong. It's nostalgic for me. I love me some Andre Drummond, but he's not a guy you want to see out there as your starting center. And do you really want Kelly Oubre out there as your starting, in your starting lineup just in general? I would say no. Tyrese Maxey, obviously expecting big things from him out there. That'll be nice. Eric Gordon will be there to launch some long threes. They've got Reggie Jackson who will come in sometimes. Kyle Lowry on the roster still. He's expected to play significant minutes, but how stoked are you about, 2,000-year-old Kyle Lowry going out there? there are a ton of question marks for this roster now because they have their two best and two highest paid players sidelined. Bringing Caleb Martin is nice. I think he'll be a solid option out there, but he's not a big time scorer. We haven't seen, Caleb Martin look like a monster since the playoffs, not last year, but 2 years ago. So we'll see what they get from this roster. I have my questions here about the 76ers, and looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we see the 76ers, they're getting points at home on opening night. They're plus 3.5. We've got an over-under of 224. Guys, in this game, a lot of weird stuff, a lot of moving parts. This kind of feels like a game that the 76ers might be able to sneak and make it close, but I'm not buying it too much, guys. Go ahead and give me the Milwaukee Bucks here in game 1 of their season. I know Middleton's out. I'm a little bit worried about that, don't get me wrong, but I'm expecting big things from Damian Lillard. I'm expecting Gary Trent Jr. to do some positive stuff. Giannis will be out there. We'll see what we get. This could be a Tyrese Maxey just go nuts kind of game, so I'm a little bit worried. I don't know that this one's going to end up in the pinned comment, and if you wanted to take some overs on some Tyrese Maxey player props, that would make a ton of sense to me, but small lean on this one towards the Milwaukee Bucks at minus 3.5. In terms of the over-under, I'm going to say small lean here towards the over. I think we're going to see plenty of offense in this game. Milwaukee was terrible defensively last season. The 76ers are not going to be very good defensively without somebody like Joel Embiid in there. So go ahead and give me over 224. I think that's probably my favorite bet on this game since, the points with the Bucks or the points with the 76ers doesn't really appeal to me. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Cavaliers going on the road to take on the Toronto Raptors. Cleveland, guys, they had an interesting offseason. Nothing too crazy happened, but re-signing Donovan Mitchell for the long term has to feel pretty nice, but you have to be worried that this guy's going to ask out or something like that. A lot of weird rumors swirling about how bad he wanted to go to New York until all of a sudden New York's amazing without him, and there's no place for him there. So we'll see how happy he really is to be in Cleveland, but this roster looks pretty scary, guys. I mean, Darius Garland coming off a season where he dealt with a broken jaw and all kinds of weird injuries, could be in for a big revenge campaign. I'm expecting big stuff from him here right out of the gate. Donovan Mitchell, obviously always looking like a monster. I'm expecting very big stuff from him. Whether he's happy there, whether he's not, he's going to play his hardest. And, if he ends up asking out, he ends up asking out. But we'll see how that goes. I'm expecting big stuff from him. Isaac Okoro, not somebody that I'm super excited about, but he's a decent defender. Evan Mobley, guys, the word is that he's been in the gym getting those threes up, trying to work on, being able to extend out there to the perimeter. And if he can do that, this dude is a monster. I think this could be a pretty good defensive team. We'll see what kind of defense we get out of Donovan Mitchell. But other than him, guys, Evan Mobley, a monster defender. Garland can be up and down, but Okoro's a good defender. And Jared Allen there at the basket, guys, one of the most exciting young shot blockers in the game. Doesn't get talked about nearly enough. This duo of Mobley and Allen can really, really play some defense, really protect the paint. This is going to be a dangerous, dangerous defensive team. And with Garland and Mitchell out there on the perimeter, they are going to be able to score 100%. Bringing Karis LeVert off the bench, that's got to feel pretty good. Niang coming off the bench, we'll see what he can do. He's a solid guy, but I'm not going to say that he's, super, super exciting. Depth is a little bit of a concern. I'm not in love with Dean Wade. We'll see what this team can do in terms of their second unit, but their first unit is looking great. So we'll see what they can do here going on the road to start their season, taking on the Toronto Raptors, who have had quite the offseason, guys. They've locked some guys up. They come in not fully healthy. We've got RJ Barrett going to be out for this game. Bruce Brown going to be out for this game. Kelly Olynyk going to be out for this game. So interesting to see what they'll be able to do here with, Emmanuel Quickley out there. Apparently he's their point guard of the future. We've seen flashes of brilliance from him, coming over from the Knicks and stuff like that, but we'll see. I still have concerns about, that huge contract they gave him, and is he really somebody you want to be your point guard of the future? We'll see. We've seen, tremendous upside. We need to see consistency. So not impossible that that'll be a good spot. Grady Dick there at shooting guard. We'll see. Obviously another very young player. We got Scotty Barnes there at power forward. He is, the franchise cornerstone, or at least that's what they're hoping. So we'll see how that goes. We need continued development from him, but I don't think that's impossible. To me, he still kind of feels like a Siakam type, and is that what you really want to build your franchise around? Seems questionable to me. Jakob Poeltl coming back from injury, guys. Having him out there, that should be pretty nice, but depth is a huge concern for this team right now with so many guys out. So we'll see how that goes, but not really loving the spot the Toronto Raptors find themselves in to start the season. That being said, I don't really feel like this is a team that's super interested in winning a ton of games. So looking at the numbers for this one, we see the Raptors getting 6.5 points at home. We've got an over-under of 224.5. Guys, I'm not getting too complicated with this one. The Toronto Raptors are worse than the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're not at full strength for this game. give me Cleveland to come out and make a statement here on opening night of, the Raptors. It's the opening night at the Raptors, but, I think we're going to see Cleveland have a pretty good night out there. Winning by 7 is a big ask. Don't get me wrong. They're going to have to play really, really well, but I think they've got the guys to do it. They've got guys that are on, like a comeback kind of revenge tour situation. Emmanuel Quickley and Grady Dick, not premium level defenders, guys. We're going to see Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell both have big nights. You can look at some overs on their player props. I think this is going to be a blowout win here for Cleveland. And with the Raptors, in my opinion, unlikely to put up a ton of offense, I would maybe shade a little bit towards the over, but my favorite bet in this game is definitely the Cavaliers -6.5. Jumping in with our first ever sportsbook ad, guys, and I am super excited to tell you about BetOpenly. They are unlike any regular sportsbook out there. Their whole goal is to facilitate peer-to-peer betting, so instead of them having a vested interest in you winning or losing your bet, they just want to match you up with a real person who wants the opposite side. At BetOpenly, you will be paying drastically reduced juice on your bets, close to 1% instead of the 10% you would pay at any of the big guys. Not having to fight that built-in house edge sounds pretty great to me. BetOpenly supports all your favorite bets, including props and parlays, and get this, guys, you can even be the house on parlays, meaning you only need a single leg to win to cash your bet. Most importantly, BetOpenly will never limit your account for being a consistent winner, which is something that happens all the time on the bigger sites. If you're interested in signing up, click the referral link in the description of this video and let's cash some bets. Now, guys, back to the games. Moving right along, guys, we're looking at the Charlotte Hornets. They go on the road to start their season off at the Houston Rockets. The Hornets come into this game, guys. The real question for this team, and all they really are going to care about this season, is how are things going to look there with LaMelo Ball and Brandon Miller out there on the floor at the same time. We obviously have seen amazing stuff from LaMelo Ball at different times, but what we've mostly seen is him be unable to stay healthy. Hopefully he spent the offseason rehabbing those ankles, getting them in good shape, because when he is out there, the dude is absolutely electric. But you gotta be out there for people to even care. Everybody's gonna forget about you if you miss all the games. Remember all the hype around Zion, and then he started missing tons and tons of games all the time. Where has that hype gone? Not hearing tons of people talk about Zion anymore. That will happen, and it seems like it already has happened here with LaMelo Ball. So I'm excited to see him out there on the floor, but I'll be more excited if we can see him out there playing 70-plus games this season. And Brandon Miller had a very good rookie season, guys. Expecting continued growth from him. He's looked like a monster. He had a crazy poster dunk there in the preseason, so that's, exciting, but not super meaningful. We'll see what we get from him. This is not a team that's built to win right now, though, guys. We've got Josh Green. He's questionable with an Achilles injury, so we don't even know if he's going to be available here in game 1. We've got Mark Williams at center. He's going to be out for this game. This is not a team that has a lot of good options there at center. Don't love that. Grant Williams coming off the bench. Not in love with that. Miles Bridges on, a campaign to try to rebuild his life and rebuild his career. We'll see how that goes. Not going to say I'm a super big fan of this guy, but we'll see. He's a solid basketball player. He will be, a productive piece out there for them. No doubt about that. So this team has some pieces on it for sure, but it's also got some pretty big holes in there, and it's got some pretty freaking big gaps there when it starts to, it comes time to start looking at the bench. Things get very, very bleak. So not super high on the Charlotte Hornets this season. I know that's not going to become as a big shock to anyone. They're taking on the Rockets, who come into this year with a lot of promise, guys. We've got everybody healthy there in the starting lineup. We've got Alperen Sengun coming back off of injury. There's some drama, whether or not they might have been better with him out, but I think it's pretty hard to be better with a great basketball player off of the floor. So we'll see how that goes. Fred VanVleet leading the way for this team. Obviously, they're hoping that Jalen Green can continue to develop. He has shown tremendous upside. He is a monster out there. We've got Dylan Brooks playing some dirty defense and messing stuff up and getting other teams mad at you. That doesn't exactly sound ideal. I'm hoping we see more Amen Thompson moments there instead of Dylan Brooks, but we'll see how that goes. Jabari Smith Jr., definitely somebody they're hoping that can continue to develop. The dude has looked like a monster at different points in his career, so I'm expecting continued growth from him and continued good stuff. And if they want to continue to run the offense here through Sengun, I think that's going to work out pretty well, guys. He's going to mature. He's going to keep getting better. Coming off that injury maybe makes me a little bit worried, but I'm not too worried, guys. I'm expecting to see good stuff from him. We've got Steven Adams there to back him up. That'll be interesting to see whenever he is ready to start his season. Depth for this team is a bit of a concern for me. Reed Shepherd, Aaron Holiday coming off the bench. That's fine. I'm not going to be super stoked about that. I mean, Tari Eason, not a guy that I'm super duper high on either. So we'll see how that goes. But regardless, guys, this team has a pretty good starting five and a couple decent bench pieces. So I think they could be an interesting team out there in the West. And looking at the numbers for this game to start off the season, guys, we've got the Rockets -7 playing at home. We've got an over-under of 229.5. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be leaning a bit here towards the Rockets at home. I think Charlotte is going to be an exciting team, but I think they're going to play very little defense. I think the Rockets are out there to really, really try to, make something good happen this season. They're going to be a tough out for anyone. The Hornets are a team that's going to be pretty much just tanking it out in the East. I know 7 points feels like a little bit, of a big number here, especially, on opening night, but maybe we'll be more excited about the Hornets when they play their season opener at home. But right now, guys, I think this is a good spot to be on the Rockets. And in terms of the over-under of 229.5, neither one of these teams plays much defense, so I'm going to be shading a little bit towards the over, but I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say that about the Rockets. My lean in this one, definitely the Rockets -7, way more than that over. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Chicago Bulls going on the road to take on the New Orleans Pelicans. The Bulls come into this season. They made some moves in the offseason, guys. We've got good news on Lonzo Ball. Josh Giddey coming in to run things at point guard. The defensive level of Alex Caruso is not going to be something we see from Josh Giddey, but the playmaking ability is off the charts. Will he be able to shoot threes this year? Seems kind of unlikely to me, but we'll see how that goes. But having this guy to run your offense, nothing wrong with that. We saw lots of good stuff there from Kobe White last year, so that's a positive development there for the Bulls, no doubt about that. And then we have the most disrespected basketball player in the NBA right now, guys, Zach LaVine. It is absolutely insane to me that nobody wanted to go out there and get Zach LaVine when the Chicago Bulls were just shopping him basically for free. You cannot convince me that this dude does not have what it takes to be an ultra high-level scorer on an amazing team. I think he could be the second best player on a championship team. I don't think that's crazy at all. Obviously, that's under the assumption that he could stay healthy, but that's the assumption for everyone. I think we're going to see a revenge tour here from Zach LaVine. He's been listening all offseason to how nobody wants him. Nobody thinks he's good. Nobody wants him. Nobody wants him. The Warriors didn't want him. I'm a Warriors fan or a Steph Curry fan. I would have loved if they would have went out and got Zach LaVine. This dude can absolutely score. I think if you put him in the right position, he can play defense. This dude is going to go nuts. So I like any Zach LaVine prop you want to throw at me, any positive Zach LaVine prop for the season, or really especially for this game. I think we're going to see big stuff from him. I like Patrick Williams out there a little bit. Vujicic out there, not my favorite center, but he can do some positive things on some nights. And this Bulls team actually has some sneaky depth there, guys. Lonzo Ball coming back, that's a great story. Very happy to see him back out there playing basketball and doing some good things. I'm not expecting him to be amazing this season. That's not the kind of injury, and the kind of time off that you can just bounce back from. So I think we'll see some growing pains from him, but Ayo Dosunmu, that's a guy that had a very good season last year. I think he's going to get much, much better. We've got Torrey Craig out there. We've got other intriguing pieces on this roster, guys. I honestly think the Bulls are a little bit scarier of a team than everybody is perceiving them to be, and they're taking on the New Orleans Pelicans, who come into this year kind of off of another slightly disappointing season. And they did go out and make some changes. They picked up Dejounte Murray, so we'll see how that goes. He comes into this game, he's dealing with personal issues right now. We don't know what it is. He's expected to return to the team on Tuesday afternoon and get in a workout, but he's technically a game time decision there for the Wednesday regular season opener. So we'll see if he even plays in this game. Really cool that there's already drama around Dejounte Murray, guys. That's what you got to be hoping for. You go out and acquire somebody, and you don't even know if they're going to be available to play on opening night. So that's a great sign. Obviously, I don't know what the issue is. Maybe it's totally excusable, but that can't be what you're hoping for. They've got Trey Murphy III. He's going to be out for this game. We're not even 100% sure when he's going to be coming back. Zion, perpetually injured Zion. He's supposed to be, new body Zion, guys. New body Zion. Once again, we've got new body Zion. I'm gonna believe it when I see it. We'll see how this goes. We'll see how things go with Zion. Obviously, insanely talented. Puts up insane numbers out there, but he can't stay healthy when it's important. It's just an ongoing concern for Zion. And right now he's dealing with an illness. So he's going to be a game time decision here on Wednesday. So we don't even know if Zion's going to play in this game. And sure, we've got Brandon Ingram out there with something to prove. We've got Herb Jones there at center, but that's a pretty small center, guys. That is a pretty small center. Will he be okay in this particular matchup? Yeah, I think he'll be fine against the Bulls, but is he going to be okay all the time? That's going to be a big ask. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if Brandon Ingram can have something of a bounce back campaign. He's going to need to do some things differently, because that jump shot was not really falling when it needed to fall last season. And then we've got Grandpa CJ McCollum out there technically at shooting guard, but I think we're going to see him running the offense pretty often. So yeah, not super sold here on the New Orleans Pelicans, especially here on night one with so many question marks. Jose Alvarado might not play in this game, and I don't know how much he really moves the needle for me. Love the dude is a super, high caliber defender in terms of effort, but in terms of, size, all that kind of stuff, score scoring ability, yada yada, definitely plenty of question marks. So we'll see how this goes. Not really super stoked about the way things look right now for the Pelicans. So looking at the numbers for this game, we see the Bulls getting 6.5 points here against the Pelicans team. We don't even know who's all going to be playing. Guys, give me the Chicago Bulls and the points in this one. I think they find a way to keep it close. I don't see anybody out there for the Pelicans that's going to be able to guard a super pissed off Zach LaVine. Go ahead and give me the Bulls and the points in this game. I think there's a shot they even win this game, and if you can find some little insider knowledge there on who's actually going to be playing in this game for the Pelicans, if we're going to see Dejounte Murray out or Zion out, definitely might want to even jump on the Bulls as a straight up money line winner in this game. So looking at the total for this one at 225.5 seems a bit high to me, especially here on, like opening night. I'm not super high on either one of these teams defensively though, so you could go either way on the over under, but my real lean on this one is the Chicago Bulls and the points in this game. I think they find a way to make things very, very interesting here against the Pelicans and possibly even pull out a win. Moving right along here, guys, we got the Memphis Grizzlies going on the road to take on the Utah Jazz. The Grizzlies come into this season, guys, have to be pretty excited to have Ja Morant back, no doubt about that. It's going to be, a big deal to see if he can, keep his head on straight and keep himself healthy for this season. I'm expecting good things from him. I hope he stays, out of trouble. Whether it's reasonable that he's gotten in the trouble he's gotten in is up to each person to determine for themselves. But it's been, it's been a worse NBA without him. I'm very excited to see him back out there trying to dunk on everyone, making some of the sickest moves out there. I'm pumped for a season, hopefully a full season of Ja Morant. And right there next to him, guys, Marcus Smart coming off of injury. The Grizzlies are going to need to see him stay healthy. They really need to see everyone stay healthy because last year was just a total injury fest. And right here off the bat, guys, they've got Jaren Jackson Jr. He's going to be out for this game. We're not sure when he's going to be back, so that's a little bit unfortunate. Luke Kennard's going to be out for this game. Vince Williams Jr. is going to be out for this game, so we're not seeing the full strength Memphis Grizzlies for this game. Obviously, having Desmond Bane back from injury, a huge deal there. That's going to be really nice for him. This poor guy was the last soldier standing, it felt like, for the Grizzlies last year. It's pretty bleak to see him out there just trying to carry, the skeleton crew here of what was left for the Grizzlies. But he's back. He's looking good. I'm expecting good stuff from this starting unit once they have everybody, and I'm expecting good stuff here from Zach Edey, guys. I am a Zach Edey believer. I think the era of the big man is not quite it's not quite back, but I think it's on its way back, and I think Zach Edey's gonna have a lot to do with that, guys. I'm expecting great things from him. He's looked so good in the preseason. I think the connection him and Ja Morant and Marcus Smart, and even maybe Desmond Bane will be great. I think he's going to be able to post up against, lots of different defenders and score in the post when necessary. And I think he's going to get tons and tons of putback opportunities. The amount of rebounds this guy could come up with could be absolutely nuts. And this is going to be his first year, guys. This could probably be his worst year. So I am expecting big stuff from Zach Edey. When it comes to depth for this team, I quickly get concerned though. I mean, Scottie Pippen Jr. as a backup point guard, sure, I guess I can get on board with that. Obviously not having Luke Kennard and Vince Williams Jr. hurts that depth a lot right now. Santi Aldama, I don't know if that's somebody I'm super sold on, although we've seen some good stuff, so I don't think I should be throwing too much shade. And then Brandon Clark, there's your backup center. Sure, that's fine, that's whatever, but really, guys, they need to get healthy so I can get a great idea, a full idea of what this Grizzlies team is going to look like. And right off the bat here, they're going to be playing against a pretty interesting opponent. We saw the Utah Jazz get off to a hell of a start last season. Eventually, injuries and the desire to tank derailed that fast start, but they have a lot of very exciting pieces, guys. Keontae George there at point guard looked like a monster last season. I'm very excited to see continued development from him. Colin Sexton, the young bull, I'm expecting to see more good stuff from him, guys. That dude plays like a man with his hair on fire. Positive stuff from him pretty much every year. The question, generally speaking, is can he stay healthy? We got Lauri Markkanen still on the Utah Jazz, guys. Was kind of hoping to see him in a Warriors jersey this season, but that did not end up happening. And who knows? We'll see if that ends up better or worse for the Golden State Warriors and for the Utah Jazz, but I'm expecting big things from Markkanen this season. Absolutely no doubt about that. Taylor Hendricks, we'll see how things go for him. John Collins at center, not a center spot that I am in love with, guys, so we'll see how that goes. But when it comes to depth, they are bringing in Walker Kessler Jr. there at center, so that'll be nice. And they have one of the most prolific bench scorers in the NBA in Jordan Clarkson coming off the pine. He will be competing for Sixth Man of the Year all the time, so I'm pretty high here on this second unit. And Patty Mills to run the show. Obviously, he always looks better when playing for Australia than he does playing in the NBA, but I like veteran Patty Mills out there. So definitely plenty of things to be excited about here for the Utah Jazz. And looking at the numbers for this game, guys, the Jazz are getting 3 points at home. We've got an over-under of 227.5. Guys, this is a little bit of a tough spot. Feels like a trap. I think we're going to see tons of public money coming in on the Grizzlies. I think the pros might be on the Utah Jazz here, especially with Memphis being banged up to start this season. I'm going to be at least a little bit here on the Utah Jazz. I'm not sure if this is going to end up in the pinned comment or not, but I do think this is a good spot to be fading the public money, all the excitement around the, Memphis Grizzlies. I think you might want to take a look here at the Utah Jazz getting 3 points. And in terms of the over-under for this game, I think we're going to see the Jazz play some defense this season. I'm not sure what kind of defense we're going to see from the Grizzlies. You could talk me theoretically into an over 227.5 in this game. I do think this is a game we could possibly see go into overtime or something crazy like that. So yeah, give me a little bit of the Jazz at +3 and a little bit of the over in this game. Rounding into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Phoenix Suns going on the road to take on the LA Clippers. The Suns come into the season, lots of big changes, guys. Mike Budenholzer coming in and picking up a point guard there in Tyus Jones. That is going to make a big difference, at least I think so, for this team. Tyus Jones has languished over the course of, recent years of his career, having to play on some very bad teams. I think we are going to see him be very excited to be out there with absolute premium talent, leading the charge there, getting to distribute the ball to guys like Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant has to feel absolutely bonkers. Mike Budenholzer is going to be wanting this team to shoot more threes, and they've got the guys to do it. Tyus Jones can shoot the ball himself. Devin Booker coming off of a big Olympics there. I think that's going to be very good for him. I'm expecting continued growth from him this season. Bradley Beal, the question with him is always, can he stay healthy? Does he even want to stay healthy? What is going on with Bradley Beal? That's always kind of how that goes. We'll see what we get from him this season. I'm not penciling anything in there. No freaking idea what his availability is going to be like, all that kind of stuff. That's always up in the air. But Kevin Durant coming off of a great Olympics, looks like the ageless wonder. He's starting to get up there a little bit, guys, and he just looks insane. So I'm always going to be expecting great stuff from Kevin Durant. Never going to be worried about him. I am, however, a little bit worried about Nurkic out there. He does have some injury history and can be questionable on defense, so we'll see how that goes. Mason Plumlee to back him up, I think, is a great addition. Royce O'Neal there coming off the bench is fine. Grayson Allen, we don't know if we're necessarily going to have him available to play in this game. I mean, he's currently listed as probable with an Achilles issue, but you don't really want to mess around too much with an Achilles issue, especially early in the season. You snap an Achilles and all of a sudden the next year of your life is gone. So we'll see how things look. Depth remains something of a concern here for the Suns, but I think they're in a much better spot this season than they were last season. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the LA Clippers, who are going to be opening up a new stadium, and they've got a new logo. And guys, you're never going to believe this, but Kawhi Leonard will not be playing here on opening night. And we don't know when we're going to see him back. All kinds of weird injury news swirling around Kawhi Leonard. Who would have guessed that would be going on? So we're going to be seeing James Harden here soaking up all the usage for this team. He was, saying, oh, Luka proved that you can just, do this all around one guy. We're going to see James Harden trying to turn back the clock here, back to those old Rockets days. And guys, I personally do not think it's going to go well. I don't think he's still got that in him. Maybe here at the very beginning of the season, you could make a case for it, but I am very low on James Harden and kind of low on the LA Clippers here, unless we see some sort of miracle happen and Kawhi is going to play all the time. Norman Powell, sure, a solid scorer. Is he a solid defender? That's a question mark for me. Terrence Mann, is he a solid scorer? That's a question mark for me. Is he a solid defender? That's another question mark, to be honest, guys. Not super high on Terrence Mann. Obviously, Kawhi's going to be out, so we're going to see a bunch of Derek Jones Jr. We're going to see a good amount of Kevin Porter Jr., I would imagine, and some Chris Dunn out there. I'm not super high here on the Clippers to start off the season. We've got, Zubac out there. He's fine. He's a decent center. No problem there. But Mo Bamba is your backup center? Not in love with that. So we'll see how things go. But this is not a LA Clippers team that I feel like has very much depth or really all that much talent. I think it's going to be a long season for the LA Clippers in what is reportedly an amazing new stadium. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, we've got the Suns. They are 4.5 point favorites there, and we've got an over-under of 224.5. Unfortunately, guys, I can't give away my premium pick on this game. I've got one over at Stump the Spread, and it might surprise you. So definitely, consider going over there and signing up, because definitely have a pick on this game that I like an awful lot, and we'll have a few NBA picks over there for this loaded slate, and NBA picks every day. But on this one, I can't give away my side in this one. In terms of the over-under, I would maybe side slightly towards the over, but that's not really a play where I see having a ton of value. Last but not least, guys, we are looking at the Golden State Warriors, who are going on the road to open their season, taking on the Portland Trailblazers. The Warriors had a very busy offseason, bringing in Buddy Hield and Kyle Anderson. RIP Klay Thompson on the Warriors. That's pretty depressing stuff for a long-time Warriors fan. I've been a Warriors fan ever since Curry got there. I was a Curry fan first, a Warriors fan second. Don't worry about homer picks, guys. We don't do that here. We're way too been in this industry way too long to be making homer picks. But still, very sad to see Klay Thompson leave, but I do think the Warriors did a decent job of reloading. Steph's going to be playing in this game for sure. I know he's got an injury designation with that jammed finger, but he's going to be all right. He's going to be out there, no doubt about that. I'm expecting a big season from Curry. Podziemski, going to be somebody the Warriors really need to build on a great season last year. We'll see what we get from him. Definitely worried about his defense. His shot making is not a concern for me, though, and neither is his playmaking. This kid is looking like a monster out there. Probably my biggest concern on this entire roster is Andrew Wiggins. What is going to happen with Andrew Wiggins this season? What kind of crazy shenanigans are going to happen? You hear every rumor in the world about him. He misses all this time for personal reasons. Very, very confusing. We need a vintage Andrew Wiggins season for this Warriors team to be decent this year. Is that going to happen? Feels very up in the air to me. Jonathan Kuminga needs to continue to mature, needs to continue to play well, but what we really need is for Steve Kerr to leave him out there and let him figure things out. The dude's looking like an absolute monster. They were not able to get a contract done with him. He's going to be very, very motivated this season. Hopefully he's not moping here right out of the gate. I don't think he will be. I think he's going to be looking to prove everybody wrong. So expecting big stuff from Kuminga. Draymond Green here starting at center is a weird, concerning thing. I know it's worked in the past, and he's a premium level defender, so maybe it'll be fine, but I'm expecting to see good amounts of Kevon Looney and Trace Jackson Davis there at the center spot. And picking up Kyle Anderson, I think, is a very interesting addition. I love Buddy Hield here. I think we're going to see him start some games. Eventually, I think we'll see him come off the bench. His shot making and shot creation has looked absolutely bonkers, so it's going to be very, very nice. I think he slots easily into that, into that spot where we, used to see Klay. I think we're going to see Buddy Hield go absolutely nuclear in some games. We've got Gary Payton II healthy to start the season. D'Anthony Melton is somebody that I'm pretty low on for the Warriors, so I'm not hoping that we see a ton of minutes from him. I want to see Moses Moody get a lot of work, and given that, he just got that big contract, big-ish contract, I think we'll see him get plenty of runs. So that's where the Warriors are at to start the season. The Portland Trailblazers kind of in something of a different spot, guys. I would say Scoot Henderson was the most disappointing rookie of last season, and a backcourt of Scoot Henderson and Anthony Simons, while they might be able to score, we'll see. Jury's still out on whether Scoot is going to be able to score or be able to be an NBA caliber player, but they are not going to be able to defend. That's a huge question mark, and for a Portland team that's trying to tank, probably not a problem they are willing to address. Jeremy Grant going to be an interesting, trade piece, although the contract that he is on is going to make him very tough to move. We've got DeAndre Ayton. Maybe some teams will be interested in him. I don't know that I'd be that interested, though. We'll see how that goes. And this is not a team that has really any meaningful depth. So, guys, I'm very low on the Portland Trailblazers. I don't think that's going to come as any big shock. Looking at the numbers for this game, guys, Portland's getting 6 points at home. We've got an over-under of 222.5. Guys, unfortunately, on this game, I'm not going to be able to give out my side either. Going to have to just settle for an over-under play, and I definitely think this is a smash spot on over 225.5. That's a play that's definitely going in the pinned comment. I think we're going to see plenty of offense from both sides and very little defense here, especially, on the perimeter. So go ahead and give me the over in this game. That's all the games we have time for today, guys. Unfortunately, we weren't able to work any player props in there, but ask me about any player props that you would like down in the comments, and I will 100% get back to you. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets, and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we will see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.